A long time ago, in a little village surrounded by tall hills and a thick forest, there was a story told about a strange market that showed up just once a year under the light of the full moon. It was called the Moonlight Market, a place where people could trade their dreams for their deepest desire. But the market was not without its dangers, for every trade came with a price. In that village lived a young girl named Adisa, whose name meant one who is clear-minded. Adisa was famous for her bright dreams, dreams where she flew over tall mountains, swimming in rivers of stars, and talked to animals. However, Adisa was never satisfied. She always felt a deep yearning for something more, something beyond the peaceful life in her village. One evening, as the moon rose high in the sky, Adisa's grandmother whispered to her, "My child, if you ever hear the sound of distant drums and see lanterns floating in the forest, do not follow them. That is the Moonlight Market, and it is not a place for those who are faint-hearted." But Adisa's curiosity burned brighter than her fear. That very night, as she heard the faint beat of drums and saw golden lanterns flashing between the trees, against her grandmother's warning, she followed the light deep into the forest. The Moonlight Market was not like anything Adisa had ever seen. Kiosks made of shimmering silk and bamboo lined a glowing path. Vendors sold strange and wondrous items, jars filled with laughter, mirrors that showed the future, and seed that grew into trees of gold. The air was thick with the scent of spices and the hum of whispered promises. At the center of the market stood a tall, elegant woman dressed in shining silver robes. Her eyes sparkled like the star, and her voice was as smooth as honey. "Welcome, Adisa," she said, as if she had been expecting her. "What is it you desire?" Adisa hesitated. She had so many dreams. She wanted to travel the world, to bring prosperity to her village, to find her purpose. But before she could answer, the woman held up a hand. "Be careful, my child. Every dream you trade will leave a hole in your heart. Choose wisely." Adisa wandered through the market, mesmerized by the possibilities. She saw a man trade his dream of becoming a great musician for a golden flute that plays itself. She saw a woman trade her dream of love for a portion that made her the most beautiful woman in the land. But Adisa noticed something strange. The traders' eyes grew hollow, and their smiles faded as they left the market. Finally, Adisa approached a stand where an old man sat with a basket of glowing spheres. "These are your dreams," he said. "You may trade one for anything you desire." Adisa thought long and hard. She reached into the basket and pulled out a dream of flying. She handed it to the old man and said, "I want to bring prosperity to my village." The old man smiled and handed her a small glowing seed. "Plant this in the heart of your village, and it will grow into a tree that bears fruits of gold. But remember, once your dream is traded, it is gone forever." Adisa returned to her village and planted the seed. Through to the old man's word, a magnificent tree grew overnight, its branches heavy with golden fruit. The villagers rejoiced, and Adisa was hailed as a hero. But as the days passed, Adisa began to feel a strange emptiness. She no longer dreamed of flying, and her nights were filled with silence. Years after, Adisa returned from the Moonlight Market. The golden tree stood tall, casting glowing lights across Ebere village. It was no longer just a tree. It had become a symbol of hope. The fruit funded school, fed the poor, and brought travelers from far and wide who came to marvel at its wonder. But not all who came were guided by good intention. One of such visitors was a distant cousin of Adisa, a smooth-talking man named Ajani, whose name meant the one who wins the struggle. Though charming on the outside, Ajani was driven by envy. He had heard whispers of the Moonlight Market and of the powerful dream trade. Unlike Adisa, he didn't want to head the village. He wanted wealth, power, and control. One day, as the village celebrated another fruitful harvest, Ajani approached Adisa quietly. "Sister," he said with a tricky smile, "what if we could plant more of these trees in every town? Think of the riches. We could control trade across kingdom." Adisa frowned. "Ajani, the prize was my dream, a piece of my soul. Do you think such power comes without a sacrifice?" But Ajani just laughed, his eyes shining. "Maybe your price was high, but I'm ready to give up any dream to own the world." That night, he vanished into the forest in search of the Moonlight Market. What Ajani didn't realize was that the Moonlight Market never calls those who seek it for selfish reasons. Yet his heart burned with such ambition that he forced his way through the trees, guided by nothing but greed and stories. To his surprise, the market appeared, but it was different. The lanterns were dimmer, the air was heavy, the vendors wore masks, and the woman in silver did not smile when she saw him. "You were not invited," she said coldly. Ajani smiled mischievously. "I came to make a deal. I want more seed. 10, 100. I'll give you any dream you want." She stepped closer. "Very well. Give me your dream of love, your ability to feel joy, your laughter, your warmth." He hesitated only for a second, then nodded. In return, he received a black seed, unlike Adisa's golden one. Ajani went back to Ebere and quietly planted his seed by the river. The next day, a tree grew, tall, dark, and crooked, with fruit shining like smooth black stone. He offered it to the villagers as a miracle. At first, they rejoiced. The fruit sparkled and multiplied wealth tenfold. But then things began to change. Farmers started to fight over lands. Children no longer listened to their parents. The laughter in the village was now replaced with argument. Crops began to wither, though the tree bloomed endlessly. Adisa knew something was wrong. One night, she sat beneath her golden tree and prayed, "Dear ancestors, please guide me. The dreams of my people are darkening." That night, she had a vision for the first time in many years, not of flying, but of the Moonlight Market in flames, and Ajani standing at the center, surrounded by shadows. Determined to stop the corruption, Adisa gathered a group of villagers and confronted Ajani. "You traded something sacred, Ajani," she said. "This tree is cursed." Ajani laughed bitterly. "Cursed? Its power. We don't need silly dreams anymore." But as he spoke, a fierce storm broke out. Lightning hit the dark tree, making it split open, unleashing a swarm of murmuring shadows that spread quickly like fire throughout the village. Adisa ran into the forest, holding a lantern in her hand. Following her vision, she found the Moonlight Market again. Quiet and patient, the graceful woman stood under the tree, which was now not as bright as before. "Why have you come?" she asked. "To save my people," Adisa said, "and to protect the dreams of the next generation." The woman studied her. "You were the first to trade selflessly. You may trade again, but beware, Adisa. You have no more dreams left to give." Adisa knelt down. "Then take my memories of flying, of wonder, of that market. If it means I can save my people, I will give it all." The woman touched her forehead, and just like that, the black seed withered, the shadows fled, the dark tree cracked and vanished, and peace returned once more. When Adisa awoke in her bed, she had lost the memory of the Moonlight Market, but she knew her purpose. She kept teaching, she kept leading, she kept sharing stories. Stories people once told her she had dreamed of. And even though she herself couldn't fly, she helped others reach greater heights. One night, Adisa returned to the Moonlight Market. She found the old man and pleaded, "I want my dream back. I didn't realize how much it meant to me." The old man shook his head and said, "Once a dream is traded, it cannot be returned. But there is one way to fill the hole in your heart. Create new dreams. Dreams are not just for you, they are for the world." Adisa returned to her village with a renewed sense of purpose. She used the golden fruit to build schools, plant crops, and create opportunities for her people. And though she no longer dreamed of flying, she found joy in helping others achieve their dreams. Years later, Adisa became the village storyteller. She would gather the children under the golden tree and told them about the Moonlight Market. "Dreams are precious," she would say. "They are the roots of our tomorrow. Don't ever sell them, because that is what shapes us into who we are." The end. My dear esteemed viewers, would you trade a memory or a dream to save others? Why or why not? What would your dream seed grow into? A school, a hospital, a song? Do you believe some blessings comes with hidden prizes? Share your experience. What do you think the dark tree in the story represents in real life? Which character did you relate to most, Adisa or Ajani? If this story moved you, tell us in the comment section. Moral lesson. The story of Adisa and the Moonlight Market teaches us that dreams are invaluable. They give us hope, purpose, and the courage to create a better world. While it may be tempting to chase quick reward, the true transformation lies in the nurturing our dreams and using them to inspire others. Like this video if you believe in second chance. Share this story with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe and turn on your bell icon notification so you don't miss the next inspiring African stories. Bye and stay safe.